Greetings from Real Life. This is Jasmine from Real Life TV. Today we are going to celebrate World Youth Skills Day 2021. So the theme is Skills for Resilient Youth in the era of COVID-19 and wave COVID. So aim of this celebration is to raise awareness of the general public as well as the youth and the younger upcoming generation to highlight the opportunities and challenges that young people are facing in unemployment as well as in employment at present context. So our target group is age of 15 to 30 years. So in Sri Lankan context, and also we have very special persons to discuss this topic and raise awareness about the skills development and the present consequences. So today we have a very special person and I will introduce his profile. He's Professor Rangika Halwathura, Professor in Civil Engineering at Department of Civil Engineering in University of Moratuwa and present Commissioner at the Sri Lanka Inventors Commission. And he is recognized as the youngest professor in civil engineering in Sri Lanka. He has been nominated for many awards and won the Energy Globe Award 2016 and CVCD Award in 2016, as well as Young Scientist Award in 2017 by the World Academy of Science. So I welcome you, Professor Rangika Halwathura.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me for this great event and on this particular special occasion. Thank you very much once again.
Yeah, we actually thank you for joining with Real Life TV to share your valuable insights and your suggestions and comments to uplift the career opportunities as well as the career paths and give some guidance for their future for younger generation in Sri Lanka. Take the initiation to this discussion. So I wanted to ask you, how do you see today's younger generations and their skills, and how do you see that they are ready for during this COVID situation to get the opportunities in upcoming opportunities after wave COVID and post-COVID situations?
It just mean I really don't want to focus to when you talk about the youth and the Sri Lankan citizens. I really don't want to limit the period to COVID and COVID pandemic situation, because I mean we have a long way to go as a country, and I mean they also have a long way to go in their career. So there were a lot of questions within your first question, so let me try to break that into small pieces. The first thing is about the talents and the capabilities of the youth in the country. In definitely just mean Sri Lankan youth and the Sri Lankan citizens, they have a special creativity. I mean, from the history, we have a long history. It is not limited to King Vijaya. It is not really the history from King Vijaya. Starting from King Vijaya, we have a long history. We really want to go into the history of Sri Lanka, the not the written history, but the real documented history in the country goes back to 130,000 years back. So we have a strong, strong evidence to say that we are coming from our civilization is really a strong and going back to even more than 100,000 years ago. So any civilizations to survive for this long without much disturbance. I mean, we know that there were a lot of disturbance throughout the history, but still we are surviving. So any civilization survive for 100,000 years, one have to really understand they should have to have the creativity in their bloodline. So that itself can prove and say that we are coming from a generation where the creativity is there inside the blood. So unfortunately, due to this current changes in the country and also the education system in the country, we are slightly deviating from our creativity. It's a different story. But if you really want to check the genes and to see whether our people are creative, of course, we are creative. So about the challenges, I mean, there are a lot of challenges as Sri Lankans. I mean, not that because of the political setup in the country, not that because we had 30 years of war in the country. I mean, anybody, life is a challenge. from the day they born and the day they die. Anybody, irrespective of being a Sri Lankan, they are in a challenge. So more the challenges, there will be more opportunities for them to explore their life. So I personally love to have challenges in the life. Then only you can develop. You should fail. I mean, that is something you have to understand. Especially the youth, they should fail in their life. If they every day they are succeeding what they want to do, I think they'll not be able to experience and explore their life. So I personally feel the challenges need to be there, and there are a lot of challenges in Sri Lanka at the moment as a country with all these changes happening in the country. So anybody, whether he is between, as Jasmine stated, 15 to 30 years, or even below 15, or even beyond 30, the life is a real challenge in the country. So that is a marvelous situation for any youth, any young person to explore and build up their character. So in that, I mean, I can enter into your discussion saying, yes, Sri Lanka is a wonderful country. If you think about the situation in the country, and if you think about the COVID pandemic situation in the country at the moment, I think this is the best time period for them to explore their life and to find who are they within their within what they do now. And the creativity, as I told you, it is dying down. It is going down because they don't have they didn't get the opportunity of exploring their life. So the COVID pandemic and the current situation in the country have given them a opportunity for them to explore their life. So in very simple note, yes, of course, this is a wonderful time for them to see who they are, or rather create their brand.
Yes. So thank you for your actually the positive and kind of a inspirational kind of a opening for young people, especially in our country, to think about out of the box and utilize this time for their well-being, as well as planning their future, as well as their career, and uplift their learning curve, right? So according to this ADB sector assessment survey in 2019, their educator report, it has mentioned that, and also identified the youth unemployment challenges in our country as the capacity gap in Sri Lankan youth at present, and to grab the opportunities in Sri Lanka as well as the global context. So this capacity gap is the issue that we have at present. Indeed, the survey outcome revealed that the core problem in Sri Lanka is youth are inadequately prepared in science, technology, mathematics, and well-rounded skills respect to 21st century labor market requirements. So that is why we need to focus on this topic and raise awareness of youth skills development and reduce the unemployment and enhance the youth personal development as well. So what do you think, what are suggestions or recommendations that you can build up for a sustainable future for our younger generation, as per your experience of different roles in this country?
Yeah. Well, Jasmine, I think I have always keep the provisions to disagree with you, and also disagree with whatever the references you are putting forward. Well, with respect to the report which you have mentioned, I personally feel we were misled by many of these international related documents throughout the history, especially after the independence, because I mean they always focus and they always compare Sri Lanka with their situation. Let's say European, they compare the European standard with Sri Lankan standards. So anyway, I mean, if you want to do a comparison, you need to have two things. You can't just compare something with one single value. You can't say you are pretty without knowing which whom you are going to compare. So always there should be a comparison. But I always feel Sri Lanka was always compared with something wrong. Like you can't compare apple with oranges, right? You have to compare apple with an apple. Then only you can see whether this is taste or not. So I feel many of these international organizations who come to this country, beautiful country, blessed country, and did analysis based on their experience in their country, and we started believing what they say without knowing what they compared. So that is what I always feel. We have a beautiful history in the country. If you want to do a real comparison to see where we are today, the best place for you to compare or get the baseline is the history, not another country, and do a comparison and say, see, I mean, we are doing bad. I personally will still, we are much more better than these European countries who suffered their lives. You go to their satisfaction level. You can measure the satisfaction level of satisfaction with these benchmarks set by them, but the real satisfaction is still with us. And the development, I still believe we are much more developed than these people who are in these developed countries, with respect to all these benchmarking. I'm telling that with facts actually, and also they with these benchmarking, what they're trying to do is, one is they're trying to take this Sri Lanka as a test field for them to try out whether they are doing is right or wrong. That is number one, and also they are trying to learn what we are doing. So we, as a developing nation, being dependent for these people, dependent for these countries, we always go behind them without knowing our roots. And these people, they are coming and pointing finger and saying us, okay, you are not doing right, but they go and deeply analyze our roots. So it's, if you take the whole development, the sustainable development as a snake, we go and we are going behind the tail of the sustainable development and sustainable society, but the head is behind us and looking what we are doing. So that is something personally I believe. So I really don't want to believe that we are doing bad. We are doing good, but unfortunately we are this country is a blessed country, but unfortunately we have not understood the real wealth and the value of this country, and finally we are heading for a big disaster. Of course we are heading for a big disaster. That is not because of we don't have dollars with us, we don't have the educated people with us, we don't have we have unemployed the youth in the country. Not because of anything, we have not understood the value of the country, value of the people who are living, and we lost the value of respecting each other and working together. So that was happened because of these political and social influences from these countries. And finally we are suffering today. Being in a blessed country, we everybody suffer, thinking we don't have a future, we don't have a hope. Number one, we have to say that we have a hope, we have a future that should be created by the citizens of the country, not by the Chinese people, not by the American people, not by anybody else. That should be created by our own citizens. So that has to be inculcated back, and also we should be able to, people who can raise their voice should be able to raise the voice and give the hopes for for the public, 22 million in the country. So don't ever say that we have issues in the country. All these issues are created by ourselves. All these issues are created, or rather put by so-called these undeveloped citizens in other countries. But we are a developed citizen. We are a developed country. We have everything under the sun in this particular country. But unfortunately, we don't know the real wealth we have. You take about the youth. I mean, I personally started. I can't remember many of the lessons I taught by our parents and our teachers, but I can still remember their life experience which they shared with us. But sadly, just because we started following these other countries and their education system and the way they start doing business, we lost that particular the knowledge which flowed through the experience, right? So we don't value the experience now. We don't have people who we can trust and who we can believe. We trust the people coming from the other countries, and we say, wow, I mean, we are not doing, and the other people who are doing well. So we ourselves we dig our hole and we are buried ourselves. So I strongly against the people who say that we are not doing good. We are doing good. unfortunately, we are not doing to the level the country expects.
Yes. So that is why we want to rectify this gap of knowledge and also enhancing your skills further, especially the younger and upcoming generation of this country. So there's a special kind of a mindset change is really important for people to grab these opportunities, as well as Professor Rangika highlighted that. So we have not identified the real potential of this country and the development and the things that we can value from this and the real value chains of this country. So I think that's why, especially in the real life Sri Lanka, we support the youth and upcoming generations to have a sustainable education and career path towards a sustainable future. That is why we raise awareness to know what is lacking in our personal development and why we should take the extra step and step further and take these knowledge gap and find out what are the right solutions in our life, and we can actually do that rather than the brain drain of this country, thinking that our country is the not safe or right place to establish their career or their future, right? So that's why, because the most of the upcoming generations that they think that our country is not the right place that they can have the better life. So I think you have raised that right thing. So let's uh, give your suggestions about this consequence, because of most of the especially the graduates, they or for their higher educations they go out of the country.
Well, Jasmine, I think the biggest the mistake which we did in the recent past is that we started measuring the satisfaction in terms of money, right? That is the biggest mistake we did as Sri Lankans in this country, because there are a lot of other things which we can't count, which we can't measure in terms of rupees and cents. And finally, I mean, our people are missing their lives. I mean, that is one big story. So you talked about people migrating from Sri Lanka. That is not because they can't satisfy their life being here. That is just because they have misled by the parents, or misled by the community, saying the satisfaction is the money. So you go and earn the money and the luxury. So that is not the satisfaction which I believe as a person. That is number one. So if you want to you take the Sri Lankan scenario. Unfortunately, thanks to the political and the education system in the country, we have grouped we have rather we have created layers in the country without considering their humanity, without considering their service to the country, without considering how much they contribute to the country. We just layer the country based on their income, based on the dress the clothes they dress, and the vehicle they use, and how much they earn, what is the monthly salary, what is the size of the house, what is the wealth, physical wealth, which you can measure from rupees and cents. And based on that, people started laying the structure, and with that, the education system automatically you create the layers, saying that the doctors, engineers, few categories, they are the best top class people in the society, and those who are doing the other jobs are really nothing. That's why we say sir to a doctor, a lecturer, or to an engineer. But to those who really doing a real good job in the field, let's say a person who's riding the three wheel, or doing some other business, we say a three wheel car, right? So we never say sir or mister to that particular person, because we have created that particular culture, not by us, but unfortunately, tactfully, just because we started believing these people, the people who try to mislead the community, we have created this disparity within the community, and with that, people just migrating because they don't have the social acceptance in the country. You take a doctor, I mean, we'll take the doctor out, we'll take an engineer because that is my profession, and the person who is swiping the road every day in the city. You compare my contribution versus the person who is swiping the road every day. Let's say I say no to a job given by you, Jasmine. You will be able to find another hundreds of or thousands of engineers in the country. But that particular person, if they say no, I'm not going to swipe I'm not going to clean the city, you can't find a replacement for him, right? but still but still, just because he doesn't have that particular demanding power, he doesn't have a set of patients behind him. So like doctors, like nurses, they will not be able to go for a strike, right? If they go for a strike, they have to suffer the next day. But just because of that particular fact, we differentiate the doctors and the engineers are at the high level, and that particular man is at the bottom level or at the cheap level. So we never measured the contribution given by that particular person to the community, right? So that is the way they have destroyed the country. That is the way they have destroyed the community. That is how the social was, the sustainable, so the society we had was destroyed by these. I'm not going to say that was disturbed and destroyed by the politicians. Well, they are the people who we can see every day. But behind them, there's a big force to destroy the sustainable community within the country. So that we need to understand. That particular fact need to be given back to the community. You take a doctor 20-30 years down the line, let's say Veda Mahatya. His satisfaction was not the money he received at the end of the day, but the satisfaction was taking that particular patient and start working. You take a teacher or a school Mahatya. His satisfaction was not the monthly salary he earned at the end of the month. His satisfaction was very simple. And that never, I mean, no one will be able to take that particular satisfaction away from that particular person. His satisfaction was taking his next generation beyond his level. He was so happy to see his students are doing better than him. But you think the same scenario today, everybody, they started measuring the life with respect rupees, and we are destroying the social values. So the wealth we had in the country was the social values, not the money. But unfortunately, we were behind something which we don't have, right? Even if you want to earn money, that is there. If the youth want to earn billions and billions, we have enough opportunities. I mean, you are talking about the unemployment. What the hell we are going to we want to work under another person? You go and find your own business. For that, you need to have a proper backbone. The backbone is not really coming just because you should be 6 feet height and you're well built. That personality, that confidence will come based on your experience. But unfortunately, within this particular education system in the country, that particular experience part was taken out, totally, completely taken out, and we are fully depend on the paper content. Everybody was measured by the one single yardstick, O level and A level. Those who are passing O level and A level, they will go to the university and they will become another burden to the country. I'm also from a product from the state university system, but I really suffer by seeing what our graduates are doing at today, because we always feel, I mean, those who go to the university, they are the best of the best. Yes, I mean, you are the best of the best, fine, but there are another set of people who couldn't pass pass that particular yardstick. They were failed, but they have a lot of other talents. But unfortunately, due to this social disparity, so I mean created disparity, we just neglect, ignore the community who can do wonders to this country. I mean, they are we always take the cream and the cream. They are not the real cream. I mean, they are cream just because of one particular factor. But there are a lot of other creams in the country, but they are all disrespected, chased out, and so they're all disparated. I mean, they don't know what to do in the community, because they all dream for one particular direction. They never look at the other avenues available in their life. If they fail, that's it, the failure of the entire life. But that is not the case in other countries. That was not the case in our country as well. Education system, those, I mean, sometimes you may have heard about this thing in your childhood. You study well, then you can become a doctor or an engineer. If you don't do well, you can go to the field and become a Govi Mahatya. So that's how they have destroyed the culture. We have 65,000 square kilometers in the country. You just imagine how many square kilometers are not utilized by Sri Lankans. So if anybody wants to earn money, the land is there. This is a blessed country. Not the best, but the blessed. It's a blessed country. I'm reiterating the same point. So this is a blessed country. So, I mean, no one ever can say that you are unemployed. You have enough opportunities in the country, but unfortunately, we are aiming for one single fact and say, look, I'm unemployed. I'm not qualified. No, you are qualified. You have a lot of qualification, but you miss one single fact. Just because of that, you are losing the entire life. So we should stop that particular thing. At least the youth, I mean, we fail in our life. I mean, how much we say you introduced me saying that you are so and so, but I personally feel my generation is a real failure, real loss to the country. But we should not give the same loose mentality to the next generation. You are talking about this 15 to 13 years, 30 years, this real youth. We should empower them with the sense of what we had in the past.
Today we have Professor Rangika Halwathura with Real Life TV to talk about youth skills development. Celebrate the World Youth Skills Day 2021. So, Professor, I really happy about your highlighted points. How do you see that when we should initiate this change? You can actually tap these the different parties, especially the parents, right? Parents, the teachers, and the academics, as well as the students at the university, and then the social clubs, youth clubs, and also the fresh graduates and the youth are at the employment as well as unemployment. Where do we start? How do we initiate this change?
Well, where we are going to start this particular change, I mean, for that, everybody should be able to understand what is the change we are expecting. I personally believe, Jasmine, the change is nothing else other than being them independent, right? I mean, our community, we have 22 million of the million in the country, but many of the people, majority, they are not independent. They are dependent. They are dependent, and they are just slaves. And that particular slavery culture was not created by anybody else but the system itself. So I think if you, I mean, before I answer your first question, I think I should create a problem and create a question, and I should answer myself saying what is the change I'm expecting. My expectancy is to create, I mean, not to change a society. I mean, one will say, okay, why not you go to politics and you try to change the country? I mean, that is not my expectation. I never will go to politics. But if I can change the masses, I mean, the way the people think. So, and again, I mean, I will not be able to change the masses. I mean, if I think of changing 22 million in the country, I'm very sure I'll be a real failure. So I never head for anything which is at the end of the day, which I feel that if I feel at the end of the day, I'm going to be a loser, I'm not going to do that. So my expectation is not to change the world, not to change the country, not to change the 22 million in the country. But if I can change at least one person, Jasmine, I think that is my satisfaction. That is what I'm trying all throughout my life. So I mean, if I can change one, that means I have achieved something. If I can change two, that will be bonus. So my satisfaction will be double. So my expectancy is to make them independent. So independency is nothing other than, make them free thinkers, right? If anybody wants to be a free thinker, there should be a lot of things behind them. One is I mean, let's say if I want to be independent and start talking on something, some matter, I should be able to have that particular the knowledge on the matter I'm talking, right? Without the knowledge, I don't want to talk like another politician who doesn't know about the fact, just talking about the points taken from other people. So if I want to be independent, I'm referring myself. If I want to be independent, number one, I will go and do a self study to see whether what are the points I'm going to talk. And in that context, there's another very important fact. If you believe something, you should be able to defend it, right? You should be able to defend it. I mean, that particular style is not there. You wanted me to address to all the cross section of the community, but I am trying to make it very, very general, very formal. So if you want to defend something, if you want to have that particular, if you want to defend something, one is you need to have the ground study and to understand, you get the knowledge. And once you get it, and if you get yourself confirmed that you are doing the right, you defend it. You defend it until you are defeated, right? So until you are defeated. So if someone comes and say that, well, you're wrong, I mean, your facts are wrong, that's what was happened at the early stage of this particular discussion as well. So I was not accepting the points taken by you, Jasmine. So I should be able to make a counter argument, right? Let's say you make a counter argument, and I finally realize that the facts which I believe are wrong, from that particular point, I should be able to understand and accept the fact that I failed. Yes, my facts are wrong. And from that particular point, I should be able to defend what I have, what I started believing. But unfortunately, that is not there in this particular community. We just, as slaves, right, blind, with a blind eye, we just started following people without giving due respect to on what we know, what we believe, who we are, not really, but who we are. So because of that, the entire country is not going down. Not, I'm again reiterating, that is not because of the politicians in the country, that because of us who can make a noise, make a voice in the country, but unfortunately we are not doing, and we are also going behind money. So that is where I want. I mean, if you really want this system to change, that is what I want to have. So if anybody wants to have that particular confident and independent in your life, as what I said, the knowledge and the acceptance and also defending and accepting has to be there. This you can't get by doing a PhD, Jasmine. I mean, that will come with your social experience. When you talk about the experience also in different ways. I can experience myself. I can use my both hands, and I'll be able to experience myself. That is one side. But at the same time, I'll be able to experience the same problem from your experience. If you are willing to share your experience, and if I'm able to understand the circumstance which you had undergone, then that will be another experience of mine. So I don't have to physically go and experience the stuff. I'll be able to share experience from someone else. For that, Jasmine, I need to have a close connection, close communication, close relationship, not in a bad way, but we need to interact with community, right? Interact with people. Then only we can share the experience. But unfortunately, we can't create independent community in the country because we are on our silos. I mean, we are in silos, right? We are not interconnected. School kids, we are not connected. You take our parents. I mean, the parents taught us not by giving lessons, not by reading books, right? Not by YouTube videos. They themselves, with their actions, we started learning how to make kids, right? How to deal with the neighbors, how to deal with the problem, right? How to deal with the family problem, how to deal with the problem with the relations. But unfortunately, with this particular system in the country, which all of us are going for money, we lost that particular experience sharing, right? That particular chain has broken somewhere. So we have to go back to that era where we can share our experience. The teacher, they come to the class. I still can remember my teachers more than what they teach us, but I still can remember the experiences they shared with us. Even at the university, even at the school, I still respect them just because of, not because of what they taught us, but what they shared from their life. So we have to change the teachers as well. And so then only we can create the independency among in this particular society. So and also the respect, the social respect, right? We should start respecting and recognizing the social input given by these people, the input given by these people to the community, than the physically what they can see. So if you can do that, we can easily change the country. So the teacher should have, I mean, the parents, they have a role in the country. Now, unfortunately, let's say luckily I'm an engineer. Let's say I failed to become an engineer because this particular society forced people to recognize the people based on their job title, right? So if I'm not an engineer, I will force my kids to look. I mean, the best. If you want to get the recognition, you go and become a lecturer, become an engineer, go and become a professor. So everybody will forcing the students, which they don't have the capability of doing that. Parents are trying to see their dreams through the kids. Now the parents, I mean, you think about the roles and responsibilities of different people. The parents have to understand their parents. They don't know. I mean, they don't know that they are parents. They just because all these physical relationships, they got babies and they don't know what to do with their babies. So the number one thing, they have to understand their role within their community, the responsibility they hold as parents. So they should never try to foresee or rather achieve the lost dream of these parents through their kids. So that is number one. The teachers, I think. Well, I mean, if you want to create graduates in the country, I mean, I'm just taking a small example. Let's if I ask if we do a small role play, and if I ask a question from Jasmine, how much knowledge you used when you do your A levels from your O levels. You did O levels, you passed O levels, and only a small thing which was used for that for your A levels. And the A levels, again, the knowledge, a small thing will be used by the university. Again, at the university, maybe 5-10% you are using at the industry. So one can say, well, I mean, you can get this 5%, 5% or 10%, 10%, and you can create a graduate. I mean, just mean that is not possible. That 90%, or let's say the 10% will carry forward, the 90% is used to train your brain, right? The person who's going to become a doctor, you get the knowledge 10%, but the 90%, your brain will be trained to become a doctor. Think as a doctor. Engineer is a different way. So that 90% is very much important to create a human, not an engineer. Engineer and a doctor, you will be able to create by picking these 10%. But that 90% is there to create a good human to the community. But unfortunately, all the teachers, they concentrate on this particular 10%. They're missing the 90%. That is to create a human, right? So I kind of request, if you want to give a message to the teachers, well, you have a duty to deliver that particular 10%, but that 90% is very much important. If you ever want to die in a country, in a developed country, right? If you really want to die in a developed, I have that particular dream in my mind, Jasmine. I really want to die in a developed country. Not that I want to go, migrate to a developed country and die there. I want to die here, and this should be a developed country on the day I'm going to die. So I have that particular dream. That's what I'm telling this. So if you also have the same dream, please make sure you concentrate on this particular 90% as much you concentrate on this particular the 10%. That is for the teachers. But the kids are very unfortunate because they don't have let's say you take the parents out, you have a problem there. You take the teachers out, there's a problem there. And the society, again, the children don't know where they have to go because the society is really, really corrupted, right? Everybody, let's say, whether irrespective of the gender, whether it's a girl or a boy, this is not a place for us to go and explore, right? So that everywhere is corrupted and polluted. So the biggest role is with the kid. So we always give the biggest role to the parents and the educated community, but unfortunately, because of this corrupt nature, we have to depend on the kids now. This 50 to 30 year gap. So they have a big role to understand who they are. right? For that, they have to first find a good role model. Very unfortunate, in Sri Lanka, we don't have good role models. We have role models, and they don't know what they are really doing. So you take a parent, right? You take mother and father. I started learning about my life through my mother and father. But unfortunately, if I ask the same thing from this 50 to 30-year age group, they will definitely, destroy their life because they don't have role models. You take their mother, definitely you have to scrub the face for at least a few centimeters down to see who is the real mother, to see the real feelings of a mother. That is one side, and she is not at home at most of the time. So these kids doesn't know what is the role of a mother. A father is a person who lied always, right? From the day they put this particular child to the school, they're lying, they're cheating. So if I ask the kid to follow the father, very unfortunate, he will become another cheater, another liar to the community. So please don't follow them. You have to judge yourself, right? We talked about the online education these days, but we never teach them do your exams without cheating. So from the day one, we teach the kids to cheat people, right? They experience. I mean, they follow us, right? The mother is cheating, the father is cheating, and we ask them to follow the parents, and we ask the kids to follow the teachers. Teachers are cheating. The cheating in the sense, I mean, to get their job, to get the promotion, to get the transfer, they are going and blessing, begging from these cheap politicians. And we ask our kids to follow the teachers. I mean, this is a mess altogether. So they have the biggest responsibility with their hands now. So to find out who are the real role models. You take let's say Jasmine being as a female character. If you want to find the shape of a man, you know what is the shape of a man, right? But you go and ask the same question from a kid in a girls' school, they will stuck. I mean, they don't know the shape of a man, right? They will take, okay, the role models, the men or the gentlemen are a bald headed and a big tummy, and they wearing the national kit. They are the role models. I mean, sorry, they are not the role models, right? When I was a kid, I'm struggling to keep my body shape, right? But now we have half males and half females. So, and we ask these kids to follow them. I mean, where are we going? Where are we heading? So they have to understand who are the role models. So that is one big challenge they're having. And Jasmine, as a social, working in social media, you have a big responsibility to bring out the real characters, not to copy them, but to follow them, right? I personally never want to create any rangikas in this country. Not that I want to be the only rangika, but I don't want to have rangikas. But you can read me, and you get the good, remove the bad, you create your own brand name, right? The way I mean, let's say if somebody wants to be a rangika by just following me, the way I cut my beard, cut my hair, the way I dress, I mean, sorry, it is copying, right? But you have to read the person. You have to read the person. Unfortunately, that is not happening. That is not happening in the community because we have not trained them. We have not teach them to how to get the good sense of the human. So that has to be changed. So we have to explore the good or the role models in the country, and we have to let them to create their own brand, because branding is very, very, I mean, I personally, I want to love to create my brands, and I want to be I want to create Rangika, that particular brand. So that doesn't mean that I don't want anybody to coming and creating another similar Rangika. I don't want to clone Rangikas. I don't want to clone Jasmine. So, but people should be able to read the other characters. That is what we did. I have followed many people to come to this particular point. Even the politicians, even the lecturers, male, female, young, old, I follow them. And I get the good or even bad. I don't mind. I personally don't believe there's anything called good or bad in this particular world. Jasmine being as a Buddhist, I mean, definitely people will blame me saying, I mean, what the hell you are talking? But I personally don't believe there's nothing good or bad. The reason is I will do anything under the sun to make myself happy. If anybody says that I'm doing things for the country, I'm doing things for the parents, I'm doing things for the motherland and the school and all, I mean, all these bullshit. if you can't make yourself happy, you will not be able to do, you will not be able to make someone else's happy. So you can do anything under the sun to make yourself happy, but don't ever sacrifice somebody else's happiness to achieve your happiness. So that is what I believe in my life. So that has to be given to the kids. Let them to find who are the role models they want to follow, not to copy, to follow, and let them to judge what is wrong and what is right. So if you can create that particular thing as a social media a person, I think that is well enough. Don't give any lessons. Don't try to give them lessons. Don't try to teach them. Don't try to guide them. But just let them to see what are the options available for them in education. I mean, we have the standard universities in the country, and other than that, there are a lot of other things in the country. Let's say you don't have the social recognition for the people who are going to technical colleges. Fine, you got to get the challenge. That is the youth is always should be ready to get the challenges. If you feel this is wrong, you go and try to change it. If you want to go from here to the peta, right, don't always get concentrated on one single route. There are a lot of other avenues. If that particular road, let's say the one bridge is broken along the road, I mean, don't try to stay there until the people come and make the bridge. Don't try until people come and make the bridge. You should be able to think of the by roads and other options to go to your destination. And that is not possible until otherwise you get your experience, the right experience at the right time. So if you do it, you will be a real successful person. So I can't really rely much on the politicians. I can't rely much on the teachers. I can't rely much on the parents, but I can still trust and rely on the youth that is 50 to 30 years age. And I'm very sure I'm always person who always be with the beliefs, because that is my own satisfaction. So I always believe they will definitely change this particular country.
I think it's like your own destiny should be written by yourself, and you have to create your own masterpiece, the best ever masterpiece that you wanted to be in your life, right? Should be ethical, legal, and a moral. And you see the best thing that you can do to this country as a youth, and also empower yourself, not only depend on the others, as you said, Professor Rangika Halwatura, with your parents and your academics, whoever the teachers and life coach, but still you believe in yourself as a young person and the teenagers even. So you can build up your own kind of a career or destination in your life where you want to be and who you want to become in your future, right? And I wanted to take this into the extra level in your life to eliminate this unemployment matter in this country. So do you think this entrepreneurial skills development is really important in this country, right? So how do you see that as a commissioner in the Sri Lankan Inventors Commission, as well as you are a person who are encouraging entrepreneurship and the young generation in this country, right? So how do you see the potential leadership and enthusiasm, as well as the career guidance towards entrepreneurship? Is it sufficient in this country, or do you think what we should be improve for getting to this level?
Jasmine, I think I have answered partly to your question in my first answer, I believe, because if you think about the opportunities and the options they have, I think this is the best time period for them to try out anything, because this is the best place, this is the best time and the right time for them to explore their life. The vacuum, I mean, it or not the opportunities, there is a huge vacuum in the country. You think about the leadership, we have a real big vacuum. You think about the professionalism, we have a big vacuum. You think about the technology, we have a big vacuum. You think about the employment, as you said, we have a big vacuum. Agriculture, we have a big vacuum. I think you'll not be able to find another time, another era in this particular country, in this particular world, right? Much better, which has much more opportunities than this. So this is the best time. Unfortunately, we are not geared enough, we are not ready enough to go and grab these opportunities. The reason is, again, I'm not really trying to blame the youth of the country, but I'm blaming the adults of the country, including myself, because we have not done our job right. We are from the free education in the country, and the people. I mean, I personally always think every let's say a month, when I reached 24th and the 25th, I started owing more to this particular country, because my salary is paid by the poor of this country, the taxpayers' money, not the poor, from the rich to the poor, the taxpayers' money. So I owe to this particular country. Not that the country should pay me, but I mean, more they pay, I started owing to this particular country. But unfortunately, that feeling, that feeling is not there in their hearts. Many of the kids, you go to university, university communities, we created degree holders, but not the graduates. I always say this thing. The graduates should have to have the social experience and social responsibility in their minds. Unfortunately, they always start, demanding without knowing what they should do. So you take about the poor, they are very unfortunate. They don't have a forum to go and talk like this. I mean, the poor in the village will not. You will never invite that particular person to come and share their experience and what they want to share in this particular social media platform. So you always invited me, right? Invite me and the people like me. The reason is, right? You also have different reasons, but that particular guy will lose the opportunity of talking. But that is why they spend on us. They spend on us to go and represent them in forum like this. But unfortunately, are we really doing that? The doctors, no. Engineers, no. The lecturers, no. Right? So finally, you will be happy, you will be satisfied, because you have because these people have created the pathway for you to even leave the country and have a happy life. But the people who created that particular path will suffer from the day they born until they die. So are we really doing the justice to the people? So I personally feel, I really, I mean, always I think, am I doing right? Am I doing, can I be happy? Can I be satisfied by knowing the people who created, like they are my parents, right? Like my parents suffer and, sacrifice their money, wealth, blood and flesh on my education. There are a lot of, people in the country, everybody have spent at least 1 cent for my education. Am I really doing right? Am I doing really justice for the money given by them? Do I really want to die as a person who owe to this particular country, owe to this particular community, or you want to die as a real human, knowing, okay, you did what you are entitled to do for this particular country? Very sorry, we don't have that particular feeling. Because of that, we are not going behind these opportunities we have. And we are blindly going with wrong impressions, wrong explanations given by maybe the politicians. I mean, you always try to blame the politician and saying, okay, I mean, they are not really developing the country. I mean, how come they develop the country, right, without your inputs? You're the people who really own this particular country, but you're not doing. You have always, you're always very much willing to. I mean, like Sri Lankans are very much good at giving. So we always love to give. Even our responsibility also. Okay, right, fine. This is what you should do. You go and do it. No, that should not be the future. So if the youth want to change the country, you have a lot of opportunities. This is the best country for you to explore the opportunities. There you have a big vacuum from the leadership to the ground level. You have a big vacuum, right? We don't know who will be the next president. We don't have a hope. I mean, but that has to be there. So if youth wants to be the next president, that itself is there in the country, because we have not created candidates to go and contest for the next presidency. So from that particular point to the very bottom, you have a lot of opportunities in the country. Not the opportunities, there are a lot of vacuums in the country. But unfortunately, you people have not geared enough to go and absorb these opportunities. The reason is you are not confident yourself. You don't know who you are. You don't know who is really inside you, and you are depend on the other explanations of the other people who has given explanation on you. But the only person, the best person in the world who can give a judgment for yourself, that is you. So if you can't do that, no one else in the country can give. If you can't go and find your opportunities, no one else will be able to give the opportunity. So over to you. It is up to you to go and find your opportunities.
Thank you very much, Professor Rangika Halwathura. Today we discuss about youth skills development to celebrate World Youth Skills Day 2021. And thank you for your valuable insights, as well as this. You have highlighted the very deep points that we have never even think about it, right? The real problems in this society, this country, because people always raise their fingers and saying these politicians are not playing their role, the religious leadership is not doing right, but the educational curriculum is not properly aligned. But where is the right gap? So we have to find out from ourselves, as well as the youth. You have a big role in your career and your future. So that's a paradise for you. Many opportunities from grassroots level to the top leadership, as you wanted to create your role as your masterpiece, who you want to be in your future. So it's up to you. And we are here from RealLife Sri Lanka to give the life coaching and providing you the right directions in your life, bringing these kind of valuable resource persons and sharing their insights to guide you in the right way, right? So thank you, Professor Rangika Halwathura. I think we will need you for your further guidance and your experience sharing for these younger generations, because our country needs this kind of guidance, because even there's no right persons to follow, so we have to create that kind of there's a vacuum for life coaching. So that's why RealLife is taking this space, right?
You're
Thank you.
welcome, Jasmine, and see you soon.
Okay. So we will meet again with another day with another topic. Until then, stay safe and stay blessed.